Well, hello there. It's Wednesday, 12:30. You know what that means? It's time for some lunch for your soul. How good does that sound in the middle of probably your busy day? Perhaps it's stressful. Well, let's just sit back for a few minutes, chat, and meet an incredible woman who got a second and kind of a third chance at life, has an awareness campaign of all campaigns just to make sure we're listening to the signals of our bodies, but not only listening, doing something about it if you need to. So, without further ado, please welcome Angelita Kiras. Hi, Angelita. Welcome.
Hello there. How are you?
Oh, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, what an incredible story you have to share. So, we want to
Yeah,
get right to it. It is
definitely.
remarkable. So, I want to start off with you had two very serious life-threatening conditions and just a lot of drama right in the middle of the pandemic
I
when you
did.
couldn't get support from your family. Let's start back talking about the first thing that happened with a headache. What was going on and what did you feel like?
I was having a headache around thank you very much, May of
Mhm.
2020 for about a week. And I was like, okay, maybe a migraine. I ignored it, didn't want to go
Mhm.
to the hospital. And then my son, a week later, was like, okay, mom, I'm going to the hospital because I thought something was wrong with him. So I said, I'm gonna go along because maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
And we got to the hospital and they did a CT scan because of me having a headache for over a week. And it came out that I had a ruptured aneurysm and I
Oh.
was bleeding on the brain. Yeah. And
And only half of people who suffer from that survive.
yeah,
Another 70% who do survive have major
yes.
neurological deficits. And while you have some, and we'll get to those in a minute, you're doing incredibly well. You're living your life. You're with your family and friends, which is remarkable. Okay, so your journey doesn't stop there.
Right.
Let's talk about what happened when you were in the hospital. I have a picture here, a
Yeah.
dramatic picture. So you had to undergo brain surgery immediately, emergency
Twice.
surgery.
Emergency. All I remember is they transferred me from one hospital to, thank God, Memorial Hermann Medical Center. And they did my first brain surgery right there immediately. And then 3 days later, I still had a lot of leakage. And they took me back in and did another brain surgery on the opposite side and inserted a VP shunt. And what that does, that shunt is in my head and it goes, yeah, right there on the left. I had a little bit of hair left at one time. And it goes down my neck and then, you know, drops into my stomach.
And it's almost like in this position, in this situation, we see you here. They had to shave your head, obviously, to
Yes.
make sure that they could do what they needed to do, which was save your life. But at
Yes.
the same time, did you have the emotional turmoil that cancer patients go through of feeling like you've lost your femininity because you've lost your hair? Or were you so happy to be alive that wasn't even really a problem? How did you deal with that? Because it's a problem for
It
women.
is. But I was so, fortunate. I thank God for saving me. And I wear my scar proudly. I will wear my shaved head. I didn't want to wear any wigs. I just let it grow as it did. And I
Good
just
for
went
you to
proud.
have, I mean, that's some strong self-esteem. I have to tell you, I wouldn't be able to do that. I know myself. I would be covered in caps and probably any kind of wig I could get my hands
Yeah.
on. But you were
Yeah.
just so thrilled to be alive. I love
Yes.
that. I mean, you
Yes.
were in a good position. Okay. Well, you had a lot to be thankful for because not only were you going through this unbelievable situation, things got even crazier for you, right? So what was the
Yes.
next step in all this? You go home, you're
I go.
trying to recover, and
Yes.
then
I'm trying to recover. My children are caring for me. And then I end up back in the hospital 3 months later with pulmonary embolism in both
mm,
lungs.
not one lung,
Not one,
but both lungs.
both.
So
Both.
is the thought that because you were trying to heal your brain, you're doing everything you can to work on getting all your neurological functions back, that perhaps too stagnant and it caused blood clots to form in your legs?
Well, I believe that I was trying to do some cognizant skills healing.
Mhm.
So I sit down and I did a lot of puzzles to keep my mind going, to keep my brain stimulated. And I think I sit down for quite a bit of time for some days.
Well, I've seen some of your puzzles, and we're not talking a couple hundred pieces. We're talking thousands and thousands,
Yeah,
right?
thousands,
But
thousands.
that was really doing something good for your
Yes,
brain. We know doctors will tell you it makes all those neurons fire and it gets things
yes,
going again, right? And makes you be
yes.
able to think straight. It can even help short-term memory. But let's talk about a few of those deficits. So you still have some complications that are pretty
I
frustrating.
do. I
Mhm.
do. I suffer from headaches like every day. Some
Mm.
aren't as severe as others, but I suffer from headaches daily. I do have short-term memory loss. I can be in the middle of a conversation and it's like a fog. And and I have like sleep deprivation. I never get enough rest. I'm up 4 or 5 in the morning. And I'm just my fatigue. I don't have any energy. I'm always tired.
Mhm.
And I would have thought that 2 years later that I would have overcame this.
Now, has the lack of sleep happened since your brain aneurysm? Do you feel like they're
Yes.
tied together? So you don't get up at 4 in the morning because you're ready to start your day. You get up at 4 in
No.
the morning because you can't sleep any
Because I
longer.
can't sleep.
And
Because
that
I
is
can't sleep.
so
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah. Because I
Well,
can't.
I love the fact that you're talking about these tough things that you are still going through today, but you've kept your faith.
Yes.
How has that
Yes.
made a difference in this journey for you?
I know God brought me through this, that He has so much more for me to do. And I wake up gratefully and thankful and waiting for Him to show me what I need to do. I'm here, I know that I'm here for a purpose and a reason after overcoming that. And I'm just on my peaceful journey. I try to promote peace to everyone and, tranquility and become a healer in my own way.
And just conversations like this can heal people because you're also on an awareness campaign because you
Yes.
want people to know if you have a
Yeah.
headache for a week that's excruciating, it's time to get help, right?
Yes, yes,
Don't
yes.
ignore those symptoms.
Do not ignore them symptoms. I would never, it's hard you really don't hear too many people survive a retrograde
Well,
aneurysm,
yeah.
but so you get a headache, please get it checked out. Please have, because doctors usually don't do CT scans.
Mhm.
But, if you have a continuous headache, have them to do the CT scans, because it could be an aneurysm prior to rupture.
Mhm. You shared some photos with me that I think are so special that truly tell your journey. So
Mhm.
walk us through what we see here
So
and just a myriad of emotions, I'm sure, when you see them.
that first one was me right before. That's my long hair, and the second one with the bandage is my first surgery, and then the one underneath is 3 days later, and then the one next to it is me 1 year later. That's my
Hey,
1 year
looking hot and
anniversary.
sassy, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Rocking that hair. You are
That's
looking good.
that's my 1 year
Well,
anniversary.
you are just such a positive spirit. How do you
Thank you.
work on that? Is that something that just comes naturally for you, or on the hard days when you still have these awful headaches that you've been dealing with for a year?
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
I meditate. I am a feng shui consultant, so I keep my house peaceful.
Mhm.
I keep good energy around me, and it helps my healing. And then I have to say, I get through with my brain aneurysm Facebook Survivors Club group.
Mhm.
I could not make it without them.
That's huge. And that's another part of your awareness campaign, right?
Yes,
That you really
yes,
want people to think about get it no matter what condition you have. Not everybody has aneurysms,
right,
but it might be cancer or it
right.
might be a mental health issue. If you get a support group and you're
Yes,
surrounded by people who get you,
yes, they get
you
it.
can be best friends or you can have the most close family members ever, but if they haven't been there, done that, they
Yeah,
don't get it, right? Maybe they don't know the right
absolutely.
thing to say, or maybe they don't have the right ideas to help you through the pain.
Yeah, right. Because I know my tolerance level is real short now, and I know
Mhm,
that's because, but my husband and my children, they deal with it. They're
mhm,
also members of the Brain Aneurysm Survivors Club, so they get survivors group, so they know
mhm.
how to deal with me.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good for them. Speaking of hubby, there he is giving
Yeah,
you
he
some good
is. That is
love.
that was my first visit after my surgery to the hospital.
Oh, that had to be so good to see him.
And
Since again,
I
you were,
was actually getting the staples out my hair on that visit.
oh goodness. And so that was, there was such a strict visitor policy. This was one time that he was able to go with you.
I was in a wheelchair.
Okay.
So he had to, that was the only
No
time.
choice.
Because, yeah, I was in COVID and I could have no visits
Yeah.
at all. Yeah, they allowed him to, bring me to my appointments.
Well, I think it helps to have a support system with this
Yeah.
loving family that you have for sure.
Mhm.
And I was so thankful you invited me into your home because I want to go back to what you were talking about. The positive energy there, it just exudes from the pores of the floors and the ceiling and the walls. And
Oh, thank
you
you.
just feel the love, and it's so incredible. And I just wish, when I left your house, and I felt so good,
Mhm.
and I just thought if the world could get a sense of this, it would be a different
Yes.
world we live in.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
how do we share the energy I felt in your home that I try to portray and to bring about in my own home?
Well, so like I said, I'm a certified feng shui consultant.
And for
God
people who don't
created
know what that means, what does feng shui mean?
Feng Shui is God created this amazing universe, which is very alive. In Feng Shui, you align your home up with the universe to create a peaceful flow of energy,
Mhm,
peace throughout your own home. So what you would do is like you add certain colors,
mhm,
but every home is individually. So it's important to your floor plan. I do a
mhm.
floor plan, a map, and I just align your colors, turn your bed a certain way. Like a lot of people can't sleep at night. It could be the position of your bed. Um, it's just it's very detailed and little trinkets that you add to add a little positivity. Like in the background, I don't know if you can see my waterfalls. That's just the uh see
Positive. No, you're doing great.
uh,
You have been flawless.
I
So,
get
but it adds probably a peaceful space for sure if you think
it
of
does.
waterfalls, right?
It does. It
Yeah.
does. Thank
And
you, it does. And that's how I get tied up sometimes. I know what I'm saying and I know where I want to say it,
sure.
but sometimes it won't all the way come out.
Well, and I also got to meet your precious daughter,
Yes.
and I always feel like a lot of times you can really see the sense of somebody through their children.
Yes.
What a
Yes.
respectful, lovely young
Oh, thank
lady. And
you
I know
so
she's
much.
helped you a lot, right?
Oh, yes. Incredible. That is my right hand. She's my only daughter. Sometimes she acts like she's my mother.
I saw a bit
She,
of that, and I loved it.
she talks to all my doctors and she contact them. If I don't tell her, because I keep a lot of stuff to myself, but she will go and she will contact them. She will go to all my appointments. She would take off of work to go to my appointments.
Do you know what all that means, Angelita?
What's that?
You're an incredible mom who deserves
Thank
some
you.
good love. That's what that means. It means you put a lot into
Yeah.
her, into your family as she was growing up, and now you're reaping
Yes.
that reward, which
Thank you.
I feel like everybody can learn from that as well. You just have a lot of things to teach us that we can
I
learn from
do.
you.
That's why he saved me. That's why I'm here. That's exactly why I'm here to continue on teaching.
What does it feel like to know that you were on the brink of death not once, but seriously two times?
It's, I get overwhelmed sometimes, and sometimes when I be looking at my group and I be seeing the conditions, I feel guilty sometimes.
Mhm.
There's a guilt that come over that. I mean, we went through the same thing, but I don't have those deficits as much,
Mhm.
and I'm thankful. I'm so grateful. I can never be more grateful and thankful and humble than I am. I've always been humble and peaceful, but
Mhm.
this brought a whole lot more out of me.
I bet. But you were always into positive energies. But
Yes.
do you still now just stop a little longer to smell the flowers. I know
Yeah,
that's cliche, but you know what I mean. I mean, do you just
absolutely.
appreciate life and everything around
Yes.
you a little more?
Yes. Smell them, gather them, put them up in the vase. Yeah. Yes.
I
Yes.
so many people that I talk to, and I've been through my own medical tragedies with my family,
Mhm.
is that at the time it is so very difficult, but always, well, everybody I've ever talked to, they can always find a bright light in it. They
Yeah.
always find something better that happened because of it. And so it's almost like it's awful to say that it was meant to be for you to have aneurysms,
Yeah.
but sometimes don't you just feel like things are just meant to be and we deal with it and then end up becoming better on the other side of it?
Absolutely. I'm a strong believer that everything happens for a purpose and a reason. We
Mhm.
may not understand it. We may can't agree
That's the
with it.
key.
I
Yeah,
right.
especially when you're living it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even though I went through this, I'm here to talk about it. I'm
Mhm.
here to bring awareness to because headaches, everyone get them. There's a lot of people that suffer from brain aneurysm that have no idea
Oh, yeah.
at all. So I'm here to talk about it, and
I
I
love
share my story. I love sharing it because I'm not going to say a miracle. I'm favored. I'm
mhm,
highly favored.
mhm.
You
Well,
know.
you're making a difference right now because these words spread. It's that thing of not knowing if it's even just one person who hears this and ends up having a headache and saying, maybe I should get it checked out. Or maybe that let's talk a little more about pulmonary embolisms. Maybe
Yeah.
they have a burning in their lungs. I
Yes.
don't remember if I shared this with you. I probably did, but goodness, I was only like 30 years old and I was on set at Fox 26. It was back when I anchored the evening news and I had a pulmonary embolism on
No.
air,
Oh
on
no.
air.
Oh
And
wow.
when you were telling me how you felt this fire and this burning in your
Yes.
lungs,
Yes.
it brought
Yes.
back
Yes. Yes.
so many
Yes.
memories.
Yes.
Information overload. My doctors figured out more than likely it was because I was on birth control at the time.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
we don't know why, but
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
never know. But
They
it,
never know.
it was so scary. And the doctors told me for 2 days until that there was no medicine that they could give me except blood thinners. And they
Wow.
told me, we don't know if you're going to survive over the next 48 hours. Just get everything in order. Did anybody ever end up telling you that?
Well, my problem that I had was they had wanted to put me on blood thinners, but they did because of the pulmonary embolism. But at the same time, I have an aneurysm, and I still have another aneurysm on the base of my skull.
Mhm.
So it was like controversy. I could bleed from that, but I need the blood thinners so I won't bleed out.
Yeah.
And actually, today they took me off of blood thinners.
So you're free from them.
Today,
Yeah.
so I have to be
Oh,
medically.
literally today.
Literally
Oh
today,
yeah,
I had
because
my
when I was at
doctor's
your house, we were popping. You were
right.
popping some blood thinners.
I had a doctor's appointment today,
Uh-huh. Well,
and
that they feel you're healing, then it sounds like.
yes,
So that's really good.
yes, yes, yes. She just told me, of course, to be aware of any burning sensations, because
Mhm.
unfortunately, pulmonary embolisms come back often when you have them.
Mhm.
So, but I'm not going to claim any of that. None of it.
No, no, thank you. We're not
Not
even going to put that in the
no.
universe. I
Right.
believe that.
Absolutely. Nope. Nope.
It's
Nope. Nope.
over. It's never going to happen
Mm-mm.
again, and
Um,
you are deemed cured of it all.
yes. Yes. And I'm here to share. Yeah. And I thank you so much for allowing me to.
Well, thank you for sharing your beautiful message. Again, so many life lessons from a wise woman. And it's just such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to be able to meet up with you. And everybody who's watching right now, guess how I found this lovely lady? Because I asked people to send me an email
Yes,
if you had a great story to tell. And voila, here she is, one of our Fox
I
26
did.
viewers. So thanks for watching and then for reaching out to
Yes.
me so that we can share your journey. You are here for a very special reason on earth. You've been given these extra chances, and right now you're redeeming them. So,
Yes. Yes.
congrats on all your successes. Keep doing those puzzles. I want to see some more.
Oh, definitely. There will be
You
more
have a
that will
lot
be
of them.
framed.
They're beautiful. You have perfect taste. I love them.
Thank you so much.
Especially the angel you're going to put on your wall. I
Yes. Yes.
love that one.
Yes. I have angels watching over me. I know they're exhausted, but they continue to watch over me.
They're asking you to give them a break already,
Right.
Angelita. Come on. If you think you can't sleep, how do you think they feel?
Absolutely.
On the edge of their
Absolutely.
little wings. Well, you take care of you. Thank you for joining us on Lunch for the Soul. I hope
Okay.
you stay in touch and let us know how you're doing.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
All right. You take care of you.
Will do.
All right. And I hope you will join us every Wednesday at this time. Next week, we're going to talk to a mom who has a young daughter who was born with a rare condition. This is another case of someone really looking at and being an advocate for themselves, for their child. And this mom did everything she could to get a diagnosis so that they could get a treatment plan. So you're going to meet her. She is just a positive soul. She has so much of advice for anyone going through anything similar like this. There are a lot of unknown conditions. Not everything has a diagnosis or a title, and she knows what that's like. I bet you've never even heard of the condition we'll be talking about next week. So I hope to see you back here next Wednesday. 12:30 will be the place to be, and we look forward to seeing you then. Hope you'll join me. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.